Hello dear students, so let's start our next video with a new topic of Tipu Sultan, the tiger of Mysore. So Mysore had grown in the strength under the leadership powerful rulers like Hyder Ali and his famous son Tipu Sultan. Here you are having your important NTSC question that who was the son of Hyder Ali, and the answer is Tipu Sultan. Mysore controlled the profitable trade of Malabar coast where the company purchased pepper and cardamom. So in 1785, Tipu Sultan stopped the export of sandalwood, pepper and cardamom through the port of his kingdom and disallowed local merchants from trading with the company, means East India Company. He also established a close relation with the French in India and modernized his army with the help of French. So the Britishers were furious. They saw Hyder Ali Khan and Tipu Sultan both as a dangerous for them as they stopped their trade from the Malabar coast also, and they also modernized their army. So they fought 4 wars between Mysore and East India Company, and that was one war was between 1767 to 69, another one from the 1780 to 84, next 1790 to 92, and the last one is in 1799. So the last war, which was held in 1799, the battle was held in Sringapatnam, where Tipu Sultan was killed defending his capital Sringapatnam. So now Mysore was under the control of British East India Company. Here the important point is that the Tipu Sultan was the tiger of Mysore, but उनकी जो डेथ थी वो कहाँ हुई थी, वो श्रृंगापट्टनम में हुई थी. तो ये बहुत थोड़ा कंफ्यूज करने वाला पॉइंट है आपका, बट डोंट गेट कंफ्यूज्ड. एनटीएससी में भी आपका ये पॉइंट आ सकता है दैट टीपू सुल्तान वाज द टाइगर ऑफ मैसूर, बट जो उनकी डेथ थी वो कहाँ हुई थी, श्रृंगापट्टनम में हुई थी इन 1799. सो अब जो ये मैसूर था ये भी किसके अंडर आ गया था, इंग्लिश ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी ब्रिटिशर्स के अंडर आ गया था, और वहां पे भी उन्होंने जो अपना सब्सिडरी अलायंस है वो वहां पे अप्लाई कर दिया था. चिल्ड्रन लुक एट दिस पिक्चर, दिस इज टीपू टॉयज, एंड दिस टॉयज व्हेन ब्रिटिशर्स defeat Tipu Sultan and when he died in Sringapatnam, so Britisher took it away on 4th May 1799. This toy is now kept in Victoria and Albert Museum in London. So this is again an important question for your NTSC syllabus. With their defeat in the Third Battle of Panipat in 1761, the Marathas' dream of ruling over from Delhi was shattered. Now they were divided into many states under different chiefs. Chiefs means Subedars or Sardars belonging to dynasties such as Sindhia, Holkar, Gaikwad and Bhonsle. These chiefs were held together in confederacy under the Peshwa. Peshwa means principal minister, who became its effective military and administrative head based in Pune. Mahaji Sindhia and Nana Fandis were two famous Maratha soldiers of the late 18th century. There were also 3 wars between the Marathas and East India Company. The first war was ended in 1782 with the no clear-cut victory. The second Anglo-Maratha war, which was held in 1803 to 05, was fought on the different fronts, resulting the British gaining उड़ीसा. यहाँ पे इन्होंने मराठा को डिफीट करके उड़ीसा गेन कर लिया था. एंड द टेरिटरीज नॉर्थ ऑफ द यमुना रिवर इंक्लूडिंग आगरा एंड दिल्ली. एंड द फाइनली द थर्ड एंग्लो मराठा वॉर was held in 1817 to 19, which crushed the Maratha power. So the Peshwa was removed and sent away to the Bittur near Kanpur with a prison. And the company now had a complete control over the territories south of Vindhyas. Our next topic is the claim of paramountcy. So under the Lord Hastings Governor General from 1813 to 1823, a new policy was introduced named as paramountcy. Means now the power of British East India Company was greater than that of Indian state, and in order to protect its interest, it was justified in annexing and threatening to annex any Indian kingdom. This view continued to guide later British policies as well. Our next topic is the doctrine of lapse. So, doctrine of lapse was introduced by Lord Dalhousie, who was Governor General from the 1848 to 1856. He introduced the doctrine of lapse. And the doctrine of lapse policy declared that if any Indian ruler died without a male heir, his kingdom would lapse, and that will become the part of British East India Company. One kingdom another after another was annexed simply by applying this doctrine of lapse. So it annexed various states like Satara in 1848, Sabalpur in 1850, Udaipur in 1852, Nagpur in 1853, and Jhansi in 1854. Finally, in 1856, the company took over Awadh on the basis of misgovernment. The Nawab was disposed, and from here the people of Awadh joined the Great Revolt that break out in 1857. तो यहाँ से आपका जो रिवॉल्ट है वो स्टार्ट होता है जब ब्रिटिश ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी ने अवध को इस बेस पे एनेक्स किया था कि वहाँ पे मिस गवर्नमेंट है, जबकि वहाँ पे ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं था. वहाँ की जो गवर्नमेंट थी उनका एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव सिस्टम बहुत ही अच्छा था, बट उन्हें सिर्फ उन्हें एनेक्स करना था. तो उन्होंने बोला कि यहाँ पे जो है वो मिस गवर्नमेंट है, जो गवर्नमेंट है यहाँ की वो प्रॉपर से मैनेज नहीं कर पा रही है. सो नाउ ब्रिटिश ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी स्टार्टेड सेटिंग अप हिज न्यू एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन. Warren Hastings, the Governor General from 1773 to 1785, was very important ruler and played a very important role in the expansion of company's power. When he was the Governor General, the company acquired Bengal, Bombay, and Madras, and these were called the presidency. Now there were three presidency of British East India Company, and these are Bengal, Madras, and Bombay. Again a very important question. You can highlight it also. Now from 1772 a new system was justice was established. Each district was divided into two courts. One is civil court, another one is criminal court. Criminal court you can say it Faujdari Adalat, and a civil court you can say it Diwani Adalat. Maulvis and Hindu Pandits interrupt Indian law for the European district collector who presided over civil courts. The civil court was still under a Qazi and Mufti but under the supervision of collectors. जो कलेक्टर थे वही उन्हें सुपरवाइज करते थे. Qazi means a judge and Mufti means a jurist of the Muslim community. But here the major problem was that the Brahman Pandits gave different interpretation of local laws based on the different school of Dharma Shastra. Muslim was suggesting their laws, Hindu Pandit was suggesting their laws. So to bring out uniformity, in 1775, 11 Pandits were asked to compile Hindu laws. Now, under the Regulation Act of 1773, a new Supreme Court was established, while a Court of Appeal, the Sardar Nizamat Adalat, and that was established in Calcutta. Next topic is the Company Army. So, the Mughal army was mainly composed of cavalry means Sawar means trained soldiers on horseback, and Paidal Sawars. So they were given training in different states by the using sword. So this was the general army, but a change occurred in 18th century when Mughal successor states like Awadh and Banas started recruitment. Recruitment means भर्ती करना peasants into their armies and training them as a professional soldiers. Now the East India Company also adopt the same method. When it began recruitment of its own army, which came to know about the Sepoy army from the Indian word सिपाही means soldiers. मतलब उन्होंने अपनी जो आर्मी थी उनको क्या नाम दिया, सिपॉय आर्मी. और जो सिपॉय है वो हिंदी वर्ड है सिपाही, जिसका मतलब होता है सोल्जर. बट आफ्टर 1820 द टेक्नोलॉजी चेंज्ड. The requirement of company's army declined. This is because the British Empire was fighting in Burma, Afghanistan and Egypt, where soldiers were armed with muskets and matchblocks. Musket means a heavy gun used in infantry soldier, and matchblocks means an early type of gun in which the powder was ignited with a match. But now in early 19th century, the Britishers began to develop a uniform military culture. Now soldiers were increasingly subjected to European style training because it was more effective, and drill and discipline that regulate their life far more than before. Now they are more advanced. Now they are more skilled. The revolt of 1857 gave us a glimpse into the world of the Sepoy. So this was all about this chapter. I hope you understand it very well. Thank you so much. Take care.